Today I'm going to be showing you 3 ways to use ChatGPT to quickly and efficiently sell things on Facebook Marketplace. For anyone who's new to selling on Facebook Marketplace, it can seem intimidating and there's a ton of information you need to put in for each listing. Using ChatGPT can help speedrun the whole process for you, especially if you're trying to sell a lot of things very quickly. The first way that you can use ChatGPT is to generate titles and descriptions for each of your items. So let's go ahead and ask it to write a title for us about a bookshelf for pickup near Central Park. Now we're going to go ahead and see what ChatGPT can do for us. We can see that it talks about the bookshelf for sale conveniently located near Central Park for pickup. Now you may be saying, I could write that description myself, and maybe you can, but not everyone can, and this is a great way to generate a bunch of descriptions really quickly, especially if you have a ton of items to sell. So now we're going to go ahead and ask it to write a description for us. Bonus tip, I've learned that if you put the dimensions in the description, you have a much higher chance of actually completing sales, instead of people arriving and seeing the item and saying this item is too small. You can go ahead and see that ChatGPT is writing a great description for this item, making sure to include the measurements of the item. Now, of course, you're going to want to read over the description yourself and make sure that it makes sense for your particular item, as well as any other details you might want ChatGPT to add. Generally, you want to keep the descriptions pretty short because people aren't going to read them anyway. They're going to look at the pictures and see how good the item looks on the photos. Now, going into another bonus tip just for selling on Facebook Marketplace, it's better to have around 5 to 7 photos. That's what I've seen that makes my items sell better and faster. If you only have 3, people are less likely to buy the item because they'll think that you're hiding something bad about the item. So just take a bunch of pictures and you're more likely to sell your item and more quickly. Now moving into the second way to use ChatGPT to sell quickly on Facebook Marketplace, and that's using ChatGPT to generate responses for common things that people ask. Now you may be saying to yourself, yeah, I can just respond to them though, I don't sell that many things. If you're trying to sell like 50 items at once because you're moving or something like that, it's really easy to just have a list of responses you can give to people, and even if you're on your mobile phone, you can go to a past chat and send the same message. Like let's say people keep asking about the dimensions even though they're in the description, you can just copy paste the message saying, hey, please check the description. So you can see that they came up with a bunch of polite responses. I'm going to ask them to make these a bit longer because we won't want to send really short messages. We want to make sure that our messages are saying everything that we want to say and asking any further follow-up questions or scheduling a date and time to pick up the item. Now, as you can see, when we do the longer type responses, it seems a lot more personable, and you can also get more bang for each message. For example, if you're just sending them back and forth a bunch of times, and that's less likely that you're going to complete the sale. Whereas if you ask questions or if you just continue the plan of when this person is coming to pick it up, what price they want, all that good negotiation stuff, this will go a lot more smoothly for you when you're trying to sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace than simply sending one-line responses back and forth. Which leads me into my next bonus tip for selling on Facebook Marketplace, and that is checking up the morning of and 15 minutes before the scheduled pickup time. I've noticed that people who don't respond the morning of and especially 15 minutes before the pickup time are generally going to ghost you, leave you out to dry. So I'd say if you really don't want to be ghosted when you're meeting up with someone, especially when you're selling one of your items, it's to check up with them 15 minutes beforehand as well as the morning of. Because if they don't respond to either one, you can probably save some time in either not going to the meetup location or planning other stuff to do instead of waiting around there for 30 minutes for them to show up. Another bonus tip when selling on Facebook Marketplace is to make sure people are reading your descriptions. What I mean by that is you may put the dimensions or that something is broken, but people either don't read that or they don't see it or they pretend not to see it. So if you send a confirmation message about this before the person arrives, it'll be much easier for you and much easier for the people you're trying to sell to. So let's say they didn't realize one of the items was smaller than they thought. If they go and read the description for the dimensions before the pickup, you're saving yourself a ton of time because then you won't have someone show up, look at the item and say, oh, this is too small, this is too big, if you ask them to look in the description. Moving into the third and final tip for selling on Facebook Marketplace, and that is to ask ChatGPT for specific advice in your situation. For me particularly, I'll be moving out in the next year or so I want to sell everything in my apartment quickly. But I'm not like someone who's making gift baskets or some kind of bracelet or something that's going to be selling multiple of these items of the same item. I'm not trying to run a business on Facebook Marketplace. I'm just trying to clear out my apartment and have some extra moving funds. So let's go ahead and see what advice ChatGPT can give me to sell these items more quickly and easily. And you can see here that ChatGPT is giving us a bunch of great advice on how to optimize our sales, get more money per each sale, and stuff like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and ask ChatGPT how I can sell things more quickly and efficiently. And as you can see here, ChatGPT has already told us twice to price competitively. But what does that mean? That basically means just going and looking at the other items in your neighborhood. Now, if you're starting to sell months and months in advance of your move date, you can generally price items higher because more people are going to have their eyes on that particular item. And the chances of you finding someone who will pay a higher price are higher than if you need to sell everything at the end of this week because you're moving in like 2 days. Now, I hope this video helped give you some tips for how to sell things more quickly on Facebook Marketplace. If you you like this video or have any tips of your own, make sure to leave those down in the comments below and we can all share how to sell things quickly on Facebook Marketplace. Thank you for watching.